What's up, YouTube? It's that time of the league again where I talk about all the potential investment opportunities when it comes to bringing back items from Delve League into Standard. I'll link the previous league's investments video below this one if you want to see the trends. Most of them are exactly the same as last league though, so we'll just get into it. Number one thing to bring back is going to probably be uniques or currencies, right? So I just have a couple examples here. This is Essence of Delirium prices in Standard. Right? So it's like 14 to 25C for deliriums. Insanities are like 30C plus. Hysterias are like 40C plus, 50C, you know, horrors are 3x, 2x, sorry. If you go to Delve League, they're like 7C, 10C, 20C. Like it's like a quarter of the price or half of the price. So that's an easy way to double your currency at least, right? Just bring back high-end essences. This isn't all of them, obviously, like horrors are exactly half the price that they are in Standard, so instant double your money there. When it comes to divines and annulment orbs, now is not the best time to bring them back. If I had made this video like a month ago, usually divines in Standard hover around 20-25C, right? They don't ever go lower than that. In League, at the beginning of the league, you can get divines for like 4C, 5C, 6C, 10C. Like I bought a bunch at around 10C per at the beginning of this league. They're just good money to bring back basically every time. Same with annulment orbs. Usually in Standard, they're about 15 chaos. In League, at the beginning of the league, earlier than right now, they're usually like 5 to 6 chaos. So bring those back, buy those earlier than now, obviously, but this is just an example for next league. And then other really expensive stuff. So this is offline in Standard. I'm searching for every single one available right now. Doriani's Machinarium, which is actually on the Atlas somewhere, right here. You need this in Standard to complete your Atlas. The Atlas is the same in every league, including Standard. And you can only get Doriani's Machinarium from Delve League, which means that players that want this in Standard have to pay 7.5 to 10x for it, which I find hilarious. And then in League, they're like an x.5. So 10 times your currency, 7 times your currency, whatever, math is dumb. Good way to make some money, bring back a couple. I wouldn't ever like go all out on something like this, because obviously it's gonna go down when the league ends, and no one's gonna need more than one, so keep that in mind. Maybe buy like 2 or 3 or 4, don't buy like 100, you know? Next item, this one is actually really important. Soul Rests enable an entire subsection of summoner type builds. This is in Standard. And they are very, very hard to get here for some reason, even though they're worthless in League, right? They're a really cool build. They let you play Summon Phantasms with Corpses builds, and it's just like, it's a really good item. Really high roll would be great. But this is something that you can pick up in League for nothing. Literally nothing. A chaos or 2. So spend the extra chaos, get a really good roll, and then bring it back to Standard. You don't even have to, like, I don't think you need to 6-link these. You can just 6-socket it, because it supports that, if I remember right. And then you don't have to pay much for it, right? Just pay like 10C for a really good roll, sell it for like a couple X in Standard, right? Really good rotator for turn. Next one is Primordial Chain. This is a incredibly good amulet when it comes to golem builds. It allows you to get 3 additional golems out, which is like the same as getting GMP for your main projectile skill. It's just a lot more AoE clear, right? And in Standard, they're a couple X, 2, 3, 4X, right? In League, they are a chaos. So buy a bunch of these, and then if you want to risk it, you can vol them, try to get a good implicit, because they are coral amulets, and those life regen is basically useless. If you get +1 curse on these, or increased aura effect of like anger, would be pretty solid. What else could you hit? I don't even know. Max res is always good. These ones are like really, really good to bring back. If you can get ones that are good rolls, even better, obviously, so you can spend less on divining them in Standard. People will pay really well for a high rolled unique. Same with Soul Rest. I don't know if you would corrupt these. Staves can't really get any crazy good corruptions, I don't think, offhand. Maybe just attack speed, cast speed, or something like that. But you can look for good corruptions on any of these as well. Next item is Command of the Pit. These are 2 Abyssal Socket ones, because that gives you the accuracy rating and arcane surge on hit with spells. I would go for 2 sockets. There's literally only 2 of them available for sale in Standard right now. These are all these are Delve specific items, right? But these are really important for minion builds. 1,000 flat accuracy for a minion is insane. It's like, it's really, really hard to get minion accuracy. They just added minion accuracy nodes this league to the skill tree. Nope, wrong place. I think there's like 3 now. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, I guess 4 clusters, 3 clusters for it, right? There didn't used to be any, so it was like impossible. You basically had to use increased accuracy gem in your minion supports for attack minions, which was just stupid. So this gives them enough accuracy that they don't need that anymore, and it gives you more abyssal sockets, which can have minion damage on them. So these are just like incredibly powerful, and in Standard, they're very, very rare. In League, they're still pretty rare, but I mean, 10 times your currency, right? If you find one with a good corruption on it, you could probably just like laugh your way to the bank. That's not a good corruption. If you had one that was like elemental weakness on hit, for example, or despair on hit, that's a lot of currency. A lot. And these are if Delve doesn't go core next league, which I'm pretty sure it will. It will go core, but I don't think it's going to go core immediately at ending this league. Probably like it'll skip a league and then go core, kind of like Incursion did. Which means you'll have that league to sell off all the stuff before it goes to the core game and becomes cheaper, right? Next item is Demon Stitchers. This is in standard, they're like 20C. In League, they're like fusing. So again, good corruption's probably something to look for here since they're really, really cheap. Or you just bring back a couple uncorrupted ones to sell. Next item is Ul's Uprising. This one's kind of weird because there's a lot of different variants of it, if I remember right. Yeah, it's like every aura has a reserves no mana version, so if you can find ones that have more popular auras, like Hatred, Wrath, Anger, Clarity is probably a decent one. Discipline is a good one. Maybe some of the Purity ones. These are only like less than an X, I think. Yeah, an X or so. So you can get basically any one for like an X. And in standard, there's only 2, online or offline, for 90X and 150X. So if you pick one with a good corruption, this is an Onyx Amulet, so it's whatever if you want to corrupt it. If you can't afford to corrupt it, then don't worry about it, but +1 curse, +1 max res. This is a really good one. Increased elemental damage with attack skills is solid, but determination's kind of whatever. Just a good item to bring back, because it's like, it's kind of a different, like it's not build enabling, but it allows you to min-max the build in a certain area, and people in standard really like min-maxing, so. Okay, so this is Crown of the Tyrant. This one was interesting. I thought this would be more popular because its nearby enemies have -10 all res. This is actually really solid for Animate Guardians. You can put this on your Animate Guardian and it just gives you 10% more damage basically to everything around it. And since the Helm socket on Animate isn't really that important, this is just free damage, right? I kind of like this one. You can get a bunch of flat added damage basically. Probably going to go for cold or lightning damage just for your Animate Guardian. That's a lot of damage right there. And the -10 resistance is pretty solid too. Because this isn't a curse, I think this counts as an aura, so I'm not sure if you could give your minions somehow give it aura effectiveness to make that more powerful. I don't know. Or maybe there's some really weird aura bots that are actually wearing this helmet. Either way, there's only one for sale in standard at 6x. And in League, they are 70C it looks like. So that's, I don't know, 10 times your currency right there. Pretty solid rate of return. And then the last one is the Doriani's Delusion Greaves. This is in standard, so I don't know. It depends on what variant you go for. These come from the Doriani's Machinarium map, so these are even harder to get, right? The map itself sells for a lot, and then you get a couple X back from the boots. In League, they're like 2 to 10C, depending on the combination, but the map lets you choose 3 different things. You can choose the Purity, choose the added flat damage, and choose the base type, Shield of Armor Evasion, right? Depending on which choices you make, I think the most valuable one would be Purity of Fire, with like flat, cold, or lightning, and then armor base, most likely, for the RF characters. I don't know if any aura bots want level 25 purities in this with added flat damage. I don't know, it's kind of an interesting pair of boots. I'm not super interested in them myself, but it looks like you can probably at least double your currency. And these ones, the same thing. If you find one with a good corruption, it's good to go. Other than that, you can look into bringing back a shitload of fossils. Oops, wrong button, let me go to character select. My Delve characters. Like, fossils are really good to bring back. Any triple T1 prefix or triple T1 suffix items with Delve mods would be good ones. Like, I don't think I have anything. I didn't actually do any investments this league. I thought about starting to do it, but I literally bought 1 soul resin and said fuck it. Fossils, any of the really powerful fossils, like probably the life fossils, pristine fossils are good, elemental fossils are good. Anything that's useful that can give league specific mods is useful. Like encrusteds, perfects, 30 quality bases, like Elder Shaper bases of high item level. Pretty useful to bring back, especially if this doesn't go core immediately. People are going to want to start crafting with these in standard, so they'll pay a fair amount for a base. And then resonators, obviously you need a bunch of resonators. If you bring back a bunch of quad tabs of chaotic resonators, I'm pretty sure you can sell those for a lot. 1 socket, 2 socket, 3 socket, whatever. The 4 socket ones are too expensive to buy in bulk, but 2 sockets and 3 sockets probably are the most useful. You just want to buy a fuckload of 1 sockets as well. You'll probably make some currency there. What else is there that's potentially useful from this league? Again, the triple T1 suffix bases is the main thing. Maybe high item level Elder and Shaper bases that are like 30 quality'd. If I remember right, let me look up the Astral Plate prices. The highest item level that you need for tier 1 life on a chess piece is I-86 Elder, right? is like the attack crit version. So I-86 Elder in League is like 20x or so, and in Standard it is... These are mirrored. Why is that so cheap? 20x still. Okay, I guess it's the same. 20-40x. It goes up pretty fast. I don't know. That's a pretty cool base. I don't know. People have some really weird bases coming out of this league from Hardcore that have been ripped over with the mirrored tag, because you could use the mirrored fossil to get a fossil out of it. I don't know. It's strange. But anyways, I think that's all I wanted to say. If you want to make a bunch of money in Standard, this is something to look at, right? So if you enjoyed, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I post videos basically every day. If you want to support me, there's links at the top of the description to join the channel, buy my merch, check out my sponsor, MeUndies, all that good stuff. If you want to buy some comfy underwear, check it out. But thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. That'll be Demi out.